Hi, it's Lonnie. Welcome to Grace Blossoms for you. Today I want to do Roxy's Weekly Challenge 2025. That's week 27. And excuse my fingers, I was just playing with ink. And anyways, today I just want to do some mark making and see where it goes. I like to do it in a book, like on book page. I find that book page soaks up the color really well. And then I'm going to try and use these maybe for clusters. Just adding some yellow, brighter yellow to the darker yellow that I had here. Sorry, I'm not very good with the color names at all. I'm using my flat brush so that these look a little bit like rectangles. These actually might work for collaging like a masterboard too. Should try that. I have so many projects that I want to do. I'm really struggling. Okay, so now I'm going to take that and add it to the bright green I had. And now it's going to be changing the color. I kind of like playing with mixing the colors. There's something satisfying about seeing what it ends up as. Except this one is really light and barely shows up. So for the next one, I'm adding a little darker yet. At least a darker shade of green. I think this was the seaweed, or it started out as seaweed. It's very similar. Probably got watered down too much. Now it's starting to look a little bit more like seaweed. I thought it was olive green at first. It's very similar to me. All right. What do you get when you mix green and this, what is it, cobalt blue? Probably get a gray. Yep. That's all right. It's still a color. And now I'm going to go back to the yellow. See if it does anything. This kind of reminds me of a color that you would see in fall. I am not anywhere near ready for fall. But it reminds me of a vegetable. Some kind of a gourd. Don't think I'm going to add the hot pink mess there. Maybe just go back to this. Finish the row with that. It does look very similar to that one. Let's try adding a little more green. Okay, so that's one. And then I'm going to do just kind of different colors. And I might change the brush out. Probably let that dry a little. I don't mind that. That's still fairly neutral. Plus it's got a little bit of lightness to it, like the yellow brightness. The yellow and the green Maybe I'll just dab some of it off, just so it doesn't run this time. That's pretty too. Alright, so I'm going to flip the page. In fact, I'm going to go to this page here. And then I'm going to clean my palette a little bit. Not overly, but somewhat. And then maybe I'll go into the blues a bit more. Let's see what color this is. It's almost like a teal. Maybe we should make flowers. This is a round brush. Kind of feel like I want to turn that around a bit. Not very good at painting. That's why this is called mark making and not painting. I like that better, because I think the flowers would be darker in the middle and lighter around the edge. Where was that? This one. They actually look a little more like petals this way too. This is a great way to see what works without any pressure. And then if you find something that works, like this flower here, then you could go ahead and put that on an actual watercolor page and do a little project. I usually don't think of it though, so I need to learn when to stop. But that's okay. Learning is learning. Yeah. So then, what if we... See, I just can't help myself. I'm always wanting to know what happens if I put this in this color. And then that's very bright for this. I just added a whole bunch of water. I think I need something a little bit more. Well, that probably didn't help because that was a bright green. I think maybe some brown. And I think I've gotten gray instead. Should make it a darker green anyways, right? Yeah, that's not making me happy. All right, let's do something else here. Rachel did some leaves, which I thought were nice. She kind of just made a stem, and then maybe made leaves like that. This brush lost its shape a little bit, so I have to keep more paint on it for it to do stuff. I'm painting my arm by resting it on there. This would make good paper for doing like clusters. I actually do like the combination of the green and the blue. The fun part is you can make different leaves by changing your brush. I kind of like the contrast difference too. The blue is pretty bold, and then the green kind of starts out strong and then it kind of fizzles over here. So I should stop there. I've seen other people going back in and adding stuff, but I never really like how that turns out for me for some reason. Okay, I'll stop there and go to the next page. I'm going to use this one. Not sure what it's called, but it's round. I think it would make really pretty roses. In fact, I think I did that the other day. So then I need some rose colored something. I should have put some yellow in here first. Might not be able to see it too well. And this is a larger brush than I used last time, so it will make a bigger flower. That's not bad. Kind of make commas that gives you a different shape depending on how hard you press the brush. I kind of like that color combination. Starting out with a bit of a yellowish and then going in with that bright red, and then the two of them together makes this kind of peach color. My favorite rose is called the Peace Rose. My sister has one, and I always think of the scent. Absolutely amazing. And then you can make them as big as you want. Some roses get really big. My yellows always get contaminated because I'm always mixing. There was a guy here at our house the other day. He was watching me mess around in my art journal, and he's like, "Do you paint a lot? You're really good at it." And I started laughing. I'm like, this is not good. This is just practice. But I guess to someone who doesn't dabble in it at all, anything looks like talent. Sorry to say. But hey, he actually stuck around and watched me. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, this one's really bright. And then I just like to fill up the page. I think I prefer the smaller, I don't know, is that a crescent brush? It looks like half of a moon. That one's a hot mess. They probably all are. Depending on how you put the brush down, you get a different shaped petal. Yeah, this one's the worst one yet. That's okay. It'll work out. Just keep going. Don't give up right away. Just keep going and putting things down. Alright, so then I have to think of how to do the leaf again. However you want, I guess. If you get the book page wet, you get this interesting smell. And if you twist the brush all the way around, if you start at the tip and twist and lift, you can flick it and get an interesting shape. Except I didn't have enough room. It's alright. At this point, I'm just looking for some added greenery to hint at some possible leaves. You know, you can't really go wrong. I mean, by the time the page is finished, it looks like something happened here. And it's called having fun. Alright, I think I'm gonna call that a day. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Hope you got inspired to get your watercolor paints out. And just goof around and see what happens. Let's not take ourselves so seriously. Alright, thanks for popping in, and we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.